Welcome to Drum Addicts on Andertons TV, and today I'm very, very lucky to be with a good friend, Ralph, in the bunker, in your man cave.
That's me.
So this is going to be quite cool. And today we're going to be talking about lovely Sabians, even though this particular cymbal I've picked up doesn't say Sabian on it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Just says Artisan, but we'll get to that. So we've got a whole set of Artisan Elites for you to lusciously play, apart from your airy, holy stack over there, which was just to fill a gap. We're going to play through them, talk you through the different sizes we got, but mainly Ralph's going to play them because that's why we're here. Mm. So this is your first time actually seeing these cymbals, isn't it?
It is. It is.
As I said, this one is a bit of a treat, but you're also loving the hats as well.
Well, the hats. The thing is, I like hi-hats a little bit lighter than average. So for these light hats to come out, it makes me really happy because I already had some medium Artisans and some light ones, but they're not officially. They never were officially identified as that, but I had two different weights, and these are even lighter, and I love them because they're really, really versatile. You can play jazz on them, and then you can use them for other stuff as well. They're super versatile. These 15s, they remind me of kind of, for jazz, it's like Duke Ellington. It would be like what Sam Woodyard would sound like. They're big, and they're swooshy. They've got a lot of dark tone to them, but they're not too heavy, so they don't get in the way. That's what I like about the lightweight. They're not intrusive in the music. You can control them, which is great. So really like these. They're very beautiful.
Well, these ones you actually messaged me about, saying, "Are you bringing 14s with you?"
Yeah. Oh man.
So bought your favourites.
The 14s are great. That's like pretty much the perfect set of hats for me. I could use those for everything and would do, to be honest with you. You can play jazz gigs on those, you can play anything. They're really quiet, they're really musical, but you can bring them up and you can play rock and roll on them too. Well,
as we said, they're complex. That's why they make the different sounds, and that's why they fit all the genres, because they are...
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a fan of shiny cymbals, although I've got a few, but I tend to like the darker sound, and particularly when you're recording with a darker sound, it doesn't get in the way of the music. That's what I find. So if the cymbals are darker, they're a little bit more blending into the music, whereas bright cymbals, they stick out much more, and you have to be more careful about how you play them. Dark cymbals, they're sort of more organic and mushy, and they fit the music better, so I love them for that. And those are just not too dark, they're just right. Got a beautiful stick attack. You can loosen them up, and you can also play them tightly. They sound great, so really like those.
What have we got in the kit now? So this is my favourite, the 22. So what else have we got? We're using a 20 as a crash, as you do, and then you're rocking big ones, aren't you? 15s.
Yeah.
But if you're fully manly enough, they do 16s of those, which big's in fashion, but I haven't played with hi-hats quite that big.
Yeah, I've got some 16s, and I've got to say that. There's one producer that I work with, and he really loves them. And also the thing is, when you're going back to the sort of like the Steve Jordan vibe of big, it is a great concept. The only thing is with 16s, you've really got to learn how to play them. They are hard work. You've got to really control them because they're big, but they're fantastic.
And you can't play them with an 18-inch bass drum because it looks wrong.
You can, but it's They're big. I mean, the only thing about a 16 set of 16s is I think that the foot chick is going to be quite hard to handle. Whereas with the 15s, these are
still crisp.
They're playable.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have a crisp sound. So, but yeah, I mean, I definitely give 16s a go. I've got a set of just 16 Artisans, and they're very, very nice.
Two crashes though.
Well, I don't know what they are, but they're great. They're like two crashes. They're huge, great things, yeah, but nice.
But you've always crashed on rides anyway. I mean, that is lovely. Yeah. This is a lovely ride to me, but this is a lovely crash to me. I just sat with that quite nicely.
This is actually quite a controlled cymbal. It's not wild, which is what I've noticed about both of these. They've got complex sound. They've got beautiful stick definition on them. They are dark, but they cut through. When you crash them, they don't go mad, which I quite like. They're fairly quick, a little bit quicker than the old set, quite a lot quicker than the classic Artisan range, which is nice because they just decay a little bit quicker. But I'm always wary of something like that because I want them to sound natural and musical. These are very, very beautiful instruments. They blend with everything. I mean, I've played a few different styles on these, and you can play any style on them. Gorgeous jazz cymbals. That'll be lovely for, you know, I would probably have that, you know, you might even, well, it's sacrilegious, but I do like to put rivets in cymbals. I might not put rivets in that. I might put a little rivet.
You know, they won't give you one if you're going to damage it.
Don't tell them that. But, I mean, you know, these are just going to improve with age as well. They've got a little brightness that I think will start to temper after you've been playing them for about 2 or 3 years, and they start to really just settle in. They're just fantastic. I'm very, 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 very surprised how musical these are. They're beautiful cymbals.
Well, they're also beautiful to look at. Slightly for the one day it's sort of sunny outside, it glimmers down very nicely on these.
They're gorgeous.
But they've sort of laved them slightly differently and made them natural, which I think just aesthetically makes them look really nice.
Yeah, I like, you know, I've got some cymbals which have got they're not lathed like this, and they have got a little bit more of a single sound. They're not as complex, but for some reason I think this lathing, it gives them a slightly more complex, darker sound, which I really like. To me, I'm looking for a dark sound, but as soon as I get into any groups where the lineup is bigger than just a quartet, then I'm struggling to get definition. And as soon as I get into a big band, I need definition. I think these actually have some definition, like a lot of other cymbals don't have. And so quite often I find myself playing a 21 Legacy, which is actually a heavy cymbal. It can be in a jazz setting, can be a little heavy sometimes for me, and I think that probably I would find myself swapping out this for the 21 Legacy, just because it's got the definition but it's got the musicality, which for me is an ideal world scenario. Happy with that.
I think that's more unusual for you, playing in massive groups doing film tracks and things like that. So that, I think the thing that this really does bring to anyone who's pulling one in for their cymbal setup is you can crash and ride on both of these. They don't even say ride on them or crash on them, because Sabian want you to open them up and play them. So, and that also, with the sort of shallower bell, means it will give you more of a crashier sound. So
yeah, well, funnily enough, I think the bells are quite, the smaller bell makes the cymbal a little more controlled, which is good, because the previous Artisans can be wild, which I love, but these are a little more controlled. But also the bells are really musical. They're not too loud. They're not too quiet. You know, I've got some cymbals where the bells are very difficult to play. These are natural, but they're not too big. So, no, they're lovely. I think the bell size is just right. Stick definition is beautiful. I mean, these are gonna, you're gonna be seeing and hearing a lot of these if I can get my hands on some. I hope so, anyway.
Well, it's just rides and hi-hats.
Yeah.
But obviously, Sabian will know that may develop and may grow. But these will blend nicely with your previous Artisans anyway. So you can have Artisan crashes with your new Artisan Elite ride, or it'll blend in and work with.
Well, I'm crashing them all anyway, and to me, if you can't crash a cymbal, it's not sort of grown up, I won't play any ride cymbals that you can't crash, and even the really trashy ones, like I've got a Fierce ride, which I love, and it's super trashy, but I'm crashing that the whole time, and it's like a dustbin lid, but I adore it. It's very specialised. But I've played a few big band records on with the Fierce ride, and I'm really happy with it. I love it, and I'm crashing the thing the whole time. It's like clang, but I really like it. It's sort of clang, woof, and it starts going like this. Starts wobbling. I really like it. So these will get a lot of crashing from me for sure. Because also when you're playing and you're doing some time patterns on these, sometimes if it's not so loud and you don't want to change the sound, you just use one cymbal and you just crash the edge of it. That means you're getting a lot of different sound options from one cymbal, which to me is a little more cool than loads of different, oh yeah, that's a 16 or this is that. When you hit that, it's like, it's a world. It's like a snare drum. You get a world of sounds from it. When you've got a ride cymbal, it's a whole world. For me, I can pretty much do a gig with one or two cymbals easily.
I think that's your fantastic hands pulling those notes out rather than
about that.
Fantastic cymbals.
I just hit them. But thank you, that's very kind of you, Rob. But yeah, I just love doing it, and I think that the crashability of these is a big thing. But it's just what they sound like when they crash. They're beautiful as crashes, as well as ride cymbals. They're not like super loud open crashes. They're controlled. I think what they're good at is crashing within the time patterns, and they're easy. They don't overtake it. If you're playing jazz on something, or you're playing quieter gigs, and then you want to crash, you don't want it to suddenly open up like some crazy, massive great John Bonham vibe. You just want to be able to crash it, and then it doesn't take the rest of the set out. So on a bop set like this, it works really nicely because they're balanced.
It's sort of a supplementary subtle crash rather than a eat in your ears, in your face.
That's right.
Accent crash.
That's right, which I really like because it blends.
So check out Ralph's playing, obviously fantastically on various different sort of gear that we switch out. Check out the links below. All the new Artisan gear is in stock. These very ones will be back in stock when we drive them back to Guildford. So yeah, if you like Ralph's playing on these lovely cymbals, check it out. This is Drum Addicts on Andertons TV, and we'll see you next time.